welcome to the deep dive. So today we're really digging into something quite intense. It's from the sources on Zechariah chapter 13. And we're focusing on this powerful idea of being, well, refined through fire. Our mission really is to explore what this ancient physical process, metallurgy, can teach us about spiritual strength and resilience.
It's a striking metaphor, isn't it? And it's one that feels designed to prepare you for tough times. I think the big question for us today is, why use such an extreme image? Why trials, suffering, described like purifying metals?
Exactly. And we're kind of anchoring this whole discussion in Zechariah 13, specifically verse 9. It talks about this promise. I will put this third into the fire and refine them as one refines silver and test them as gold is tested. Okay, so let's unpack that. Starting with the actual physical process. What does it really take to get pure gold?
Well, what's fascinating, and maybe a bit surprising, is just how necessary the intense heat is. You can't just warm it up. To get the gold separated from all the other stuff, the impurities, the ore has to melt. And we're talking temperatures over 1,000 degrees Celsius. It's incredibly hot.
1,000 degrees. Wow. That's serious heat. So what actually happens chemically or physically at that temperature?
It's basically about density. Science, right. When everything's molten, the really heavy gold naturally sinks. It goes right to the bottom. And all the lighter stuff, the impurities that the text calls dross, it gets forced up to the surface.
Oh, okay. So it separates itself out.
Yeah.
The heat makes the separation possible, and then you can, skim the impurities off the top?
Exactly. You skim off the dross, and what's left behind is much purer. But here's a crucial point the sources highlight. Getting really high purity, like the best gold, it's not a one-shot deal.
Okay. So you can't just do it once and get perfect gold.
Nope. Not usually. To get that really high-grade purity, you often need multiple rounds. You heat it, skim it, let it cool, then maybe heat it again. It's a process, sometimes repeated, demanding sustained effort.
That idea of repetition, that feels really important. It takes us right from the physical process into the prophetic context here in Zechariah, doesn't it? This isn't happening in a vacuum.
Absolutely not. The verses right before this, verses 1 to 8, they set a dramatic stage. It's described as a time of major cleansing, cutting off idols, removing false prophets. Prophets who are so ashamed they end up denying they ever prophesied, claiming they're just farm workers.
Right, a time of profound spiritual sorting. And that leads into a pretty shocking statistic mentioned in the sources, doesn't it, about who gets through this?
It is stark, yeah. The text says, in the whole land, 2/3 shall be cut off and perish. It's a drastic image of separation, like a first major removal of the dross, you could say.
So 2/3 gone. The focus then shifts entirely to the remaining 1/3.
Exactly. That's the group God says he will put into the refining fire. And the sources are clear. This fire, this testing for the 1/3, it's not about punishment in the end. It's purification. It's meant to make them clean, whole.
Okay, so the fire serves a purpose for that specific group. And the ultimate outcome, looking at the end of verse 9, it's about relationship, isn't it?
It totally is. That's the whole point. After the refining, the text says, they will call upon my name and I will answer them. It leads to this beautiful reciprocal declaration. God says, they are my people.
And they say.
And they respond, the Lord is my God. It's about restoring that deep connection, that trust. But now it's been, tested and proven genuine.
So thinking about the listener, what's the main takeaway here? If we put the metallurgy and the prophecy together, it seems the real issue isn't the heat itself, but maybe the quality of what's being heated.
That's a great way to put it. Superficial faith, stuff that isn't genuine, it probably can't withstand that kind of testing. It gets skimmed off. The trials, the heat, they're permitted, the sources suggest, to purify what is real, leading to a deeper reliance, a more solid trust in God.
So response isn't just endurance, but maybe something more active.
Yeah, the sources encourage responding with faith, yes, but also with worship, even gratitude, understanding the purpose behind the trial.
Okay, so let's wrap up with a final thought for you to consider. We talk about how refining gold isn't a single event. It often takes repeated rounds of intense heat to reach true purity. So if spiritual growth is similar, if it requires maybe repeated testing over time, how does that idea of necessary repetition change how you view your own challenges or your journey of faith? What does that demand in terms of patience and just steadfastness day to day? Something to think about.